Welcome back to Just Carve Rob, or welcome to Just Carve Rob, depending on whether it's your first visit or your second or third or fourth or 100th or millionth visit. Oh, what are we doing? Well, I think we're going to try carving a bobblehead. Okay, we got this piece of wood, basswood. It is 2x2x6. But I think we're only going to use about let's see. We want the head to be I'm going to say 2 inch. Let's go 2¼ inches. And then we'll carve the head. Maybe better go 3. We'll go 3 inches on the head. And that's where we'll cut it off at. That one there gives us a little whether we need it or not. That 3 inches, right? Because that will divide our block in half. Yep. So if we need a little bit more than that, we got it. If we don't, we can always shorten it up, right? Right. So what I need, probably ain't gonna find. Huh. Okay. So anyway, we can just take our pencil. Man, that does not look like that. It looks like more than half. I know it's 6-inch block. Maybe it's just my eyeballs. That's off about 1/8 of an inch. So we'll just do something like that. Wow, these, boy oh boy, one of them days, eh? There we go. Hey, it met up. All right, so, okay. Just going to cut them corners so I know. Probably ain't going to know because I'm going to end up taking these corners off this block because they're poking my hand. Getting very pokey here. And we got to take all these corners off anyway. This is a 2-inch OCC knife. Get rid of some of this corner on here. I'm just about at the far reach of my reach here to do this. Okay. Guess what? We're putting our head on this side. This side, I think. Although, I don't know. Yeah, this wood's going to break. Okay, I can tell by the growth rings on this thing that right here is the middle of the wood. That's why it's chipping there. See how it does this way. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that'll work. As well. Well, see, it broke out there again. Same thing. Same scenario. So I guess it don't matter which side of the wood we're going to start with. It ain't going to love us anyway. Right? Right. Okay. Hope that was all in frame. Nope, got one more corner here we missed. Yeah, that's a little bit better to hold on to. At least some hard corners aren't digging into your hands. Okay. So I'm going to say that's going to be the bottom of our head right there. Which gives us a little wood, 3 inches to hang on to. And we can always rip that on the bandsaw and turn it into some 1x corners. Even though I chopped the end off, the corners off of it, don't matter. Okay, so how are we gonna make a bobblehead. Well, let me get it drawn on here, and I'll bring you right back. All right? All right. Okay, so as you can see, I'm rounding out this block here. I drew a circle on the top, and now I'm coming back. I'm going to round that out, okay? All right, and for this next maneuver, we have to cut these sides down, and then this is going to be the brim of the hat right here. So we're going to have to cut this down and then shape that and yada yada. You know how it goes. All right, so we made it round so we can go back and make it square, okay? It's just easier for the knife to take the corners off. So now we're going with the cut saw, extreme burr, and the Dremel 4000, and for that, we have to turn on the vacuum, and so you're not going to hear me, so get ready for the dreaded voiceover, over. And here we go with the dreaded voiceover. All right, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the planes and ships at sea. All right, so we're working on the hat. We're going to carve this hat. We got the Dremel 4000 with the cut saw extreme flame burr, and that's what we're doing. We're going to make a hat. I already cut into it with my, I got one of them, what do they call them? Reciprocating sonic, blah, 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 things for cutting wood. Harbor Freight had a deal. If you bought a battery, you got a tool free. So I bought one of their bigger 5 amp hour batteries. And the tool I picked as a free tool was one of those sonic hooligans. So, well, you got it. You might as well use it. Works great out here in the carving shop. For I got one of them wood blades on it for cutting down to make the rim of my hat. Now we got 2.5 inch OCC knife, and we're doing some whittling. Whittle. Okay, I'm no woodchuck, but you know I know what I would do if a woodchuck did chuck wood. Yep, I'd collect it and carve it. That's what I would do. What would you do if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Well, I'd follow him around and pick up the wood so I could do some more carving. Yeah. Okay, you can see we got most of the hat carved in here using that 2.5 inch knife to push that face back from the corner. Okay. My hat got a little crooked here, so my center is not going to be center, but it will be when it's all said and done. Right? Because you can always take a little bit of a twist of the wood out of the wood by lining things up by eyeball. So you can see the face is coming out. I'm trying to keep those flat planes where your nose, because your nose is going to be the furthest off your face, right, Jordy, over there at Carving Fusion? Nose it. See how crooked, how off center I am? But oh well. We're gonna work. You just work through it, work around it, get over it. Okay. And yeah, this wood had very varying grain. Let's say it's graining, man. I'll tell you. It only took me 3 weeks to carve this one guy. I'm setting records here. Yeah. Okay, so we got the cut saw gold fine burr in there. I like that gold fine burr because it comes down pretty small on the end. And it seems like all I can find for basswood is 2x2 this, 2x2 that. Ben over at Studio on the Lake hasn't been around much, but he sent me a box of some bigger basswood. So get ready for a bigger something. We're going to carve. Maybe, hey, I got a piece over there to make a heck of about a 1.5 foot bobblehead. Right? This guy's only 6 inches, 2x2. I got a piece, I think it's 4x4 over there, about a 1.5 foot long. So, yeah, maybe we can make like a, I don't know, 12 or, what are G.I. Joe dolls? They're 10s, 8s, and 6s, I think. Hello. You see my face? Here's my eyeballs. Yes. Okay. So I have a very, very, very tiny dental burr in here, and the Dremel Stylo, the most gutless Dremel they've ever made, right there. But for those little one 64th burrs, are they 1/64 or 1/16? Let's see. I think it's a 16th, an eighth, and a quarter. Yeah. So those little tiny 1/16th dental burrs, and believe me, the cutting part on them is a lot smaller than that. I got a brass Dremel collar, and it didn't have a hole in it. So I mounted it in my Dremel, and I took my hand drill and I lined it up the best I could, and I drilled it out for the 1/16th burr. But remember, if you're going to drill, if you got that collet tight and you got it tightened down, and you drill a 1/16th hole in it, guess what? It will not hold the 1/16th burr. You have to drill it undersized, because when you open that chuck up, that collet expands and lets you slip your burr in there, right? Right. Ask Mr. Two Collets how he knows that. Mr. Two Collets, how do you know that? Well, I drilled the wrong hole. Yep, that's the way it works. Okay, now we're working on ear. We got that 2-inch OCC knife. It's a little bit long for this, but you just choke up on it and hope you don't slice your fingers and go with that. Yep. Let's say hi to Amy Jo. Amy Jo's got a YouTube channel. She's painting Bigfoots and making game boards with Bigfoots and all kinds of stuff with the big feet, the big furry fellows. And she's doing, I want to say, like dioramas. Remember them when you were in school? You had to read a book and then make a little story about the book. She's making it. Well, I don't think it's on a book. I think it's just out of her imagination station. That we're saying the brain, right? That's your imagination station. That's where all your ideas come from. Oh, shop inspector's freaking out. Must be a rabbit out there, or the mail truck. One of the two. Okay, because her and the mailman are like buddies. She barks at the mailman gives her a cookie or a dog treat and makes her happy. Everybody says, "Oh, the dogs hate mailman." Not my dog, man. My dog loves the mailman. She has to inspect the mail truck. Now she's the mail truck inspector. Okay, so we got our Dremel turns down super low, and we're using Scotch-Brite. This green Scotch-Brite. I got to get some of the red. The green's a little too fine. And we're getting in there where them eyes are, because they're kind of fuzzy. So I want to try pushing in there and getting that cleaned out. I've gone over them with a diamond burr. This wood, this Amazon basswood, my friends, this particular batch of it is just, I don't know, it's probably super dry, which makes it very, like your cuts are not clean. It leaves like little hairs on the cuts. I've carved a lot of basswood, and this is actually the first stuff I've ever got from Amazon. Normally, I buy it at Menards or Hobby Lobby or Michael's or someplace. A lot of people talk about a guy, his name is Heineke. Yeah, Heineke Woods. And he'll sell you basswood any size you want. And I've got some of it, and it was great basswood. Cut, man, that stuff carved like butter. He's over there on the northwest coast. I think he's up in Oregon, up in that area, Washington. So they get a lot more rain than we do. So because we get basswood here in Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Matter of fact, Ben over there at Studio on Lake, he's in Wisconsin. I got some Wisconsin basswood, but like cedar, my friends, nothing beats the East Coast or West Coast cedar. Okay, so there he is. He's coming out. We've been carving his hat, carving his ears, carving his nose, carved his eyes. And you can see how wide we made it and everything. And there's a close-up of him. He's getting ready to have his head cut off. Yep, right there. You're going to cut him off. You're going to take that tool and cut him off. We drilled the hole in his head. And we have the extreme taper burr. And we're opening that hole up for the spring. I went to Ace Hardware, and I found they sell springs by the spring in a big box. So I picked out 3 different springs. And I'm like, which spring are you going to use in here? So I put the little wooden head on the spring and held it, you know, and wobbled it. And I hope I picked the right spring because I had to epoxy it into the head. See, if you know what size spring you're going to have before you go through all this, you can just drill a hole in there so that the spring fits in there snugly, like you got to screw the spring in. Then you don't got to worry about it. Okay, so now we're going to work on the body. We have a saber tooth, green. It's not a flame burr. It's like an elongated flame burr. I think they call it a bud burr. This bud's for you. And all the things that do the king of burrs is coming through. Yeah, I like the saber tooth burrs, and I like the cuts all burrs. They both have their place in my carving box when I'm power carving. Cuts-all does not make an elongated flame burr like this, and I really like this because I mean it really comes down to a needle point, so you can get right like in where we're going to do the arms in there. With the on a bigger carving, the extreme flame burr would be fine because you don't need that deep of a point going into the armpit and the back of the arm area. But since this guy is only, remember now, this all has come out of a 6-inch block of 2x2 basswood. So remember that, okay? We're gonna give this guy a skinny body and a big butt, yeah. And then we're gonna have his hands. See how I'm using the very nose of that to get down in there to cut the arm. Your arms do not have to be this deep in if you don't want them to be. But being a bobblehead, I kind of wanted to give him a goofy little body. So, kind of like this body almost reminds me of like the old Mickey Mouse bodies when they draw them. Like he had 3 ovals. The head, the body, and the legs. So he's pretty close to that. And yeah, the only reason this bobblehead come about, me and Jordy, we talk every day. We throw ideas back. There's his butt, big butt. Throw ideas back and forth at each other. And he goes, "What should I carve? Just carve, Rob." And I said, "Hey, you know, I've never seen anybody carve a bobblehead." Okay, so there's his head. It's gonna bobble. We're gonna have to make some glasses for him. Yep. And so then he takes off and builds a bobblehead gnome, and he challenges me in front of all the people of the universe. Challenges me. There he is. He's all done. His head's on there. He bobbles. He falls over. Share, subscribe, and like. Be awesome. Carve something awesome. Bye.